The anthem you hear on Tuesday nights is not just a signal that elite football has returned. It is the opening note of a financial system switching on across continents. For fans, it is emotion, anticipation, and history. For clubs, it is forecasting models, cash flow projections, wage structures, and transfer budgets quietly aligning with outcomes yet to be played. Because the Champions League is not simply UEFA's premier competition, it is a layered economic machine built on participation, progression, history, and market power. Every match is a sporting event on the surface and a financial recalibration underneath. Every round is not just elimination or advancement, it is movement between revenue tiers. And every goal has consequences that extend beyond the scoreboard, into contracts, valuations, and balance sheets that stretch across seasons. To understand it properly, you have to stop thinking of it as a tournament. It behaves more like a structured economy disguised as sport. The entry layer, being in the system. Before anything is won, money is already being distributed. Entry into the Champions League is itself a financial event. Qualification unlocks guaranteed income that arrives before the first kick. This is not conditional on performance, it is attached to access. For many clubs outside the traditional elite, this is the most important financial moment of their entire season, sometimes even their entire multi-year planning cycle. That is why domestic leagues become so intense at the top end. Finishing in the upper positions is not just about trophies or prestige, it is about crossing a threshold into a different financial ecosystem. The difference between qualifying and missing out is not incremental, it is structural. Clubs do not treat this income as a bonus, they treat it as a baseline assumption. Budgets are built with it already included. Transfer strategies are designed around it. Wage structures expand in anticipation of it. In accounting terms, it behaves less like uncertain revenue and more like expected revenue. That expectation creates a subtle but powerful distortion. Clubs begin spending Champions League money before they have earned it. This is where financial fragility begins. The performance layer, scaling value through results. Once inside the competition, revenue stops being fixed and becomes dynamic. Every match result carries financial weight. Wins generate higher returns than draws. Progression through each phase unlocks increasingly larger payments, creating a structure where advancement is not linear but exponential in value. The tournament is effectively a staircase where each step is more valuable than the last. Early success stabilizes a club's financial position, while later success transforms it. Reaching the knockout stages changes a club's financial profile entirely. Progressing through the rounds compounds that effect. By the time a club reaches the final stages, its European income can rival or even exceed what it generates from an entire domestic season. This alters behavior in ways that are not always visible on the pitch, but are deeply embedded in decision-making. Squad rotation becomes a financial calculation. Tactical conservatism in group stages can be justified not only as strategic, but as economically rational. A single result can influence projections worth millions across multiple departments of a club's structure. Football remains the same game in form, but the decision environment surrounding it is fundamentally different. The historical layer, when the past has monetary weight beyond current performance, lies a system that quietly rewards history. A portion of Champions League revenue distribution is influenced by long-term European performance. Clubs with sustained success over many years receive additional financial weighting compared to clubs without that pedigree. This introduces a second axis of value, time. In theory, every season is a fresh competition. In practice, the financial system remembers. The rationale is commercial. Clubs with established European histories bring global audiences, stronger brand recognition, and higher broadcast reliability. They are more predictable products for international television markets. But the effect is structural rather than symbolic. It means that clubs do not start each season on equal financial footing. Some begin with embedded advantages based on accumulated success over time. This creates a feedback loop. Successful clubs generate more revenue, which allows them to build stronger squads, which increases their likelihood of continued success, which further strengthens their financial position in future distributions. It is not a closed system, but it behaves like a self-reinforcing hierarchy. The market layer, geography as economic force. Alongside historical weighting sits another invisible factor: market size. Revenue distribution also reflects the commercial value of domestic broadcasting markets. Clubs from countries with larger global audiences receive larger shares of certain revenue pools than clubs from smaller markets. This means financial power is not determined purely by performance. It is also influenced by geography. A club operating within a large broadcast ecosystem benefits from structural advantages that extend beyond the pitch. Even when sporting results are similar, revenue outcomes can differ based on the size and global reach of the domestic league they belong to. This creates a second layer of inequality embedded in the system. European football is not just a meritocracy of performance. It is also a reflection of global media economics. That is why clubs from major leagues often maintain financial dominance even when competitive gaps narrow. They operate within larger commercial environments that amplify their earnings potential. The ripple system. What Champions League qualification triggers? The official revenue from UEFA is only part of the financial impact. The Champions League triggers a cascade of secondary effects that extend throughout a club's entire structure. Matchday revenue increases significantly on European nights. Stadiums operate at premium pricing levels. Hospitality demand expands. Corporate seating becomes more valuable. The same venue produces radically different income depending on competition context. Sponsorship deals often contain performance clauses tied to European qualification and progression. Simply entering the Champions League can unlock additional payments. Continued participation can increase brand valuation and strengthen future negotiation positions. At the same time, costs rise. Player contracts are frequently structured with wage increases tied to Champions League participation. Success therefore triggers both revenue growth and cost inflation. The financial effect is double-sided rather than purely positive. This is one of the most important dynamics in modern football finance, the dependency model. When success becomes assumption. At the elite level, Champions League income is not treated as upside. It is treated as baseline operating revenue. Clubs design multi-year financial strategies, assuming consistent participation. Debt structures, transfer spending, wage bills, and infrastructure investments are often built on the expectation of continued European income. This creates dependency. Dependency introduces risk, because qualification is not guaranteed, but financial obligations often behave as if it is. When qualification fails, the system does not pause. It continues to demand the same outflow of wages and commitments while inflow decreases. Expansion logic. Why the competition keeps growing. The Champions League has expanded in structure, format, and revenue distribution over time. This is not accidental. It reflects both commercial and systemic pressures. From a financial perspective, expansion stabilizes the system. It reduces the risk of early elimination for major clubs and increases predictability in revenue flows. This also aligns with broader strategic interests. The competition must retain its largest clubs because they generate the majority of global interest and commercial value. The disruption layer. Why it still feels like sport. Despite its structural inequalities and financial engineering, the Champions League retains one essential feature: unpredictability. Occasionally, a smaller club breaks through established hierarchies and advances deep into the competition. When this happens, the financial impact is disproportionate relative to the club's starting position. This is the tension at the heart of the competition. It is structurally weighted toward established power, yet still produces enough unpredictability to maintain sporting legitimacy. The Champions League feels like the highest level of football, but structurally it operates as one of the most sophisticated revenue distribution systems in global sport, an economy that happens to play matches on Tuesday and Wednesday nights, under floodlights, with an anthem that signals not just kickoff, but cash flow. We break down money machines like this every week. The Premier League's TV empire is the natural next watch. Subscribe for the full series.